just gotta reach out your arms and embrace the sun. No more time for self-pitying abuses. Gotta stand up and shout and say, I am the one. 'Cause there's been too much crying and talk of being free. Gotta jump off that cliff and be who you were born to be. No more time to waste on photos of the past. There's a star with your name on it and a love that's gonna last. 'Cause there's been too much holding on and talk of being free. Gotta take it all with you and be who you were born to be. Now I know the ice is melting, all the ships are going home, and the wind is getting colder and we feel more and more alone. So stop all your excuses, got the answers all for free. Jump off that cliff and be who you were born to be. Who you were born to be. Sha-la-la-la-la, 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 sha-la-la-la, yeah, yeah, yeah. Jump off that cliff and jump off that cliff and be who you were born to be.
Greeting of peace from Persatuan Brahma Kumaris Malaysia, Kuching branch. Wherever you are, thank you for joining us and spending your valuable time with us. We wish you a very good evening, very good afternoon, and morning. I'm Amanda, your MC for this program. First of all, please allow me to introduce the background of Persatuan Brahma Kumaris Malaysia. Persatuan Brahma Kumaris Malaysia was established in Malaysia since 1981. Till today, we have more than 50 centers throughout Malaysia. We are an independent, non-governmental organization and a member of a worldwide network of Brahma Kumaris World Spiritual University. Asia Retreat Center is its headquarters, which is located at Dengkil, Selangor, Malaysia. Taking into considerations of the current global pandemic, the institution strongly believes more than ever that the community should continue to be served. Thus, all our activity will be hosted online using social media. We hosted a live event entitled Knowing My Real Self is in September and an event entitled Accepting Myself for the month of October. This evening, we continue the series of self-discovery with the topic, Make My Mind My Best Friend. Miss Cindy Lim is our moderator for today. Before we start, it is my honor to introduce the guest speaker for this evening, Mr. Pui Sheng Fan. Mr. Pui is a Raja Yoga meditation practitioner for the past 36 years. He retired as a government school principal and is currently the Secretary General and National Board Member of the Persatuan Brahma Kumaris Malaysia. He has continuously doing extensive research on meditation and mind-related matters. Thus, he is giving talks to the professional and public on the various topics such as anger management, stress-free living, and positive thinking. He has also conducted courses on meditation, value education, and leadership, etc. If you have any question throughout this event, please feel free to post it in the chat box. We will attend to your question during the Q&A session. Without any further ado, let me welcome Mr. Pui. Welcome.
Okay, first and foremost, greeting of peace and good evening to everybody. And I would like to thank the MC for tonight, Amanda Lee. And also I would like to thank the Persatuan Brahma Kumaris coaching branch for inviting me to share some thoughts on this important topic. I think ever since, I think almost for the past 8 months, I think all of us, wherever you are, whichever part of the world you are, we've gone through a lot of tests, a lot of stress, a lot of tension, anxiety, simply because of the pandemic, the COVID-19. You see, this evening, the main aim that I would like to share with all my friends here is basically to teach you how it's so important that the subject of the mind. You see, ever since the pandemic started about 9 months back, you can ask anybody. You can ask the doctors. You can ask the frontliners. You can even ask the ministers for that matter. They always say that the only way to really fight against this virus is to empower yourself. And we know, so we call it immunity. And the way to empower ourselves is basically people recommend many methods. Things like take care of your diet, exercises. But the main thing is what we are doing is we are empowering the body. Okay, we are empowering the body so that the body can be strengthened, the immune system can be increased to fight against the virus. But sad to say, I think till now that very few of us really think about how to have immunity in the mind itself. That means how we empower the mind. Because we know that we are not living just through the body, but we also have, all of us have a mind within us. One of the things I always talk to a lot of people during this pandemic time is there's so much of tension and stress. You see, situations you can't control. The economy you can't control. Your job, your business is not in your hands. But the only thing, friends, the only thing within your hands is your mind, M-I-N-D. Whether you like it or not, all of us have a mind. The only situation where we don't have a mind is when we are dead. So to say, when we are dead, we don't have a mind. So as long as we are alive, the mind is with us. So this evening, I think the topic, what is the aim of this evening topic is basically to make your mind peaceful, okay, to make your mind calm, and to make your mind, to empower your mind, so to say. I think this is important. If during the end of this evening talk, you're able to get some treasures, some tips, some methods, or some ways to empower your mind, that I'll be very happy. You see, before I go on further to the program, is basically tonight's structure of a program is there are two parts. The first part of the sharing, the talk here is I will share probably about half an hour or so. And then later, probably, I think the MC will mention later that during the sharing, if any of you have any questions pertaining to the talk, pertaining to the topic, is please write in the chat box. And then the second half of the portion of the program is Q&A. Q&A with our moderator, Miss Cindy Lim. So to begin with, I think basically, brothers and sisters, we have to be very clear. The thing I'm going to talk about very much this evening is actually on the thing on the mind and thoughts. First thing we have to understand what is mind actually. You see, mind is just a compartment. Mind is just a department within ourselves, within the living being. Okay, so within the mind, the function of the mind is basically is to create thoughts. So the whole focus on today's topic is just on the topic of thoughts. And we always give an analogy of thoughts has three things. One is thought can be the seed, just like a plant. No? We plant the seed. Secondly, the thoughts can be food. Okay, food for the mind. We always use to say food for the mind. Is the thought is food for the mind. And thirdly, we always give the example, thoughts are being fuel, the petrol. Okay, the fuel or the petrol. So these are the three things that uh, thoughts can be seed, thoughts can be food, and thoughts can be fuel for the mind. Okay, that means so basically I will take you through the whole subject on the mind, because says the next topic is very appropriate that we have two choices, brothers, sisters, friends. We have two choices. So either you make your mind your friend, or either you make your mind your enemy. But what is more important, sometimes your mind can play tricks on you. Okay, today your mind can be a good friend of yours. Tomorrow your mind can be a little bit of sulking, a little bit of manja, I believe we call it manja, and then your mind can be your enemy. So, but the third process is, even my mind is the enemy. I have to turn the enemy to a friend. Okay, turn the enemy to the friend. That is one of the aim and objective. So I think very clear. I don't need to elaborate too much on friend. You know, friend is somebody who will give you peace, who will listen to you, who will give you love, who will give you calmness, who will give you a peace of mind. Because on the other hand, if your mind is your enemy, enemy will disturb you, enemy will give you tension, will give you stress. You see, one thing I always share with people in the world is, you see, the mind will be with you till you die, till the moment we leave our body. So I think it's only logical, sensible that you really, really have to take care of your mind. Because the basic thing is no one can take care of your mind except you yourself. Your parents, your spouse, your servant, your mates can take care of your body. But the only person in the world that is most important is you yourself, because the mind belongs to you. The mind doesn't belong to anyone. Okay. So with that, what I will do is, our friends, I will take you to some of the slides. And if you have any question, I'm very, very happy. Actually, I like questions from all of you to put in the chat box as much as possible. Okay. Okay. Firstly and foremost, what is our aim? Okay. Basically, our aim next, there are 4 methods how to make your mind your best friend. I hope everybody can view the slides here. I will apologize to those who not too good at English. But as far as I know, to next program, we have translated into both Tamil and also Mandarin. You see, to make your mind your best friend, I think these are the 4 things that you have to know basically. You have to understand the mind. Just like you want to make your neighbor to be your friend, you have to know your neighbor. You have to understand your neighbor. Secondly, I think very important is we have to know a little bit about the natural laws of the mind. Because there are certain universal laws, there are certain laws, it's not written laws, but basically there are spiritual laws that govern the mind. That we have to know. And thirdly, the types of thoughts that we are creating. Just like we are sensible, we won't take overnight food, we won't take stale food, correct? If we take the wrong food, you're purging, you won't feel well. In the same case that if we take the wrong food, and what happens is, if we take the wrong food, that means the wrong thoughts in our mind is, then it will upset your mind. That means instead of giving you peace and calmness, you'll be more stressful. And I think most important is the fourth thing that I'm going to share with all of you is we manage the mind. I won't use the word control the mind. I won't use the word suppress the mind. I won't use the word discipline the mind. I think the better, softer approach, I think, is more lasting, is we manage the mind. You see, just like being an educator, I know that the way parents to educate your children, okay, I think very, very important. You have to manage your children well. It's not merely just discipline. Discipline won't have a permanent impact on your children. So managing the mind is more important. Okay, next. Brothers and sisters, I'm going to show you a very interesting slide. Newsweek have done a research many years back. Many years back, some scientists have done a very interesting figure. I'm going to show to you this evening. You can look at the screen. All of us basically one day, you know, probably 24 hours, our mind can produce 70,000 thoughts. Amazing! It's such a big figure. Okay, and then in our normal mind, we zoom it down. Every minute, your mind produces about 50 to 60 thoughts. It means, put it in short, that every second, your mind will create one thought. Okay, it can be the same subject, it can be different subject, it doesn't matter, but every minute, the mind is producing 60 thoughts. And in a relaxed state of mind, basically when we are asleep, okay, we are asleep, we are resting, we're taking a nap, the mind will produce about 25 thoughts per minute. Okay, that means number of thoughts are reduced. But the amazing thing, friends, I want to show all of you is after meditation. So one of the aims of meditation, there are many aims of meditation I'm going to mention a little bit later, is to make your mind peaceful. So once our mind are peaceful, amazing that the number of thoughts that your mind can produce in 1 minute is drastically reduced from 50, 60 to 10 thoughts per minute. That means, put it in essence, put it in short, that meditation simply reduces your number of thoughts per minute. Okay, you see, normally being an educator, one of the greatest problem all of us face, even I presume all of you sitting down there, you see, we cannot control the mind. No, we cannot have good concentration. Correct? Whether you are studying, whether you're doing your job, or whether you are doing or driving or whatever, most of us sometimes we lose concentration of our mind. Basically, concentration of mind doesn't happen because of two reasons. I'm going to share later on. Basically, our mind produces too many thoughts. The quantity of thoughts increases, and also secondly, the speed of thoughts is too fast. We cannot have good concentration. So the aim of meditation, the aim of managing a mind is basically reduce the number of thoughts on one level. Second level, equally important, is I have to reduce the speed of the thoughts. So if I'm able to reduce the quantity of thoughts and the speed of my thoughts, I can have very good concentration. That probably, as I go along, I will mention a little bit here and there. But definitely one thing I would like to mention to all friends here, that in this 1 hour, I'm not a magician. I cannot say after 1 hour you go back, you have a very peaceful mind, okay? And you're able to control your mind or calm your mind thoroughly. But this evening, I'm just giving you some hints and some tips and probably some insight onto the mind. Okay, next we talk about slogans of the mind. You see, a couple of very interesting slogans. Okay, next. So the slogans of the mind, I put about 5 to 6 slogans of the mind. I think if you read this slogan, then you find so important the mind. This is one slogan we always say, is that when your mind is defeated, life is defeated. The success of your life depends on your state of mind. So if your mind is defeated, your whole life is defeated. That means you lose. Secondly, we always say, control your mind, you will control your life. Okay. And thirdly, we always say that life is a game. It's a game of what? It's a game of the mind. You see, anybody can tell you that to have good achievement, higher achievement is basically you will conquer here. When you conquer here, you can conquer the external. So life is a game of the mind. And thirdly, success is determined by thought power. Okay, and the last one, I like this slogan very much, is we always say here, to conquer the world, you just conquer your mind. Okay, these are some slogans of the mind that I think it sort of put a start to this evening subject. Okay, the next thing we talk about, analogy of the mind. You see, many religion have talked about, many scriptures have talked about the mind has different analogy. So basically, I extract these are the 4 very common analogy of the mind. Those who want to ride a horse, they have to go through courses on how to ride the horse, because we know that if you're not able to tame the horse, what happens is you may be injured. Okay, Thirdly, I think most important is many of us doesn't know that the mind is like a child. You see, I always ask people, how many children you have? Some say I have 2 children. I say, no, you have another one, you have 3 children. Okay, you have 3 children. And the main thing, if I'm not able to take care of the child on top here, I'm not able to take care of the child. So one of the approach of making your mind your friend, or making your mind to be peaceful, to become, is okay. And lastly, I think that the garden, we give analogy of a garden. I think any gardener can tell you that we have to take care of the garden well. Whether watering the mind, no, watering the plants, giving sunshine, taking out the weeds, the insects. So similarly, our mind is like a garden. So we have to take care of the garden every day. Okay, make sure the bees are not there, make sure the insects are not there, make sure the plants are not there. So this is very important area of the mind. We call the natural laws of the mind. This is a very important component, brothers and sisters. Next. These are very, very important components before we go further into able to manage your mind. You see, there are 5 things we have to know about the mind. And sometimes we get wrong information about these terms, about this natural state of the mind. You see, there are 5 state of the mind that certain things you have to understand what the mind can do, what the mind cannot do. Okay? Or in other words, what I can do with the mind and what I can't do with the mind. So these 6 natural laws, from the 5 natural laws, if we look at the screen, you're able to, so the result, you're able to get a very good result. So firstly, we zoom into the first one. Friends, I think most important is you cannot empty your mind. Definitely you cannot empty your mind, because the natural state of the mind is to produce thoughts. The only situation, the only circumstances where you empty your mind is when you're dead. When you're dead, you're not able to think. Even people in coma, they're thinking. Even sleeping, you are thinking. So the mind, you cannot empty the mind. Secondly, most important, we cannot suppress the mind. Most of the disease nowadays, we use the word psychosomatic, or sometimes we use the word, a lot of mental illnesses, because these people tend to suppress the mind. There's no outlet, there's no avenue to channel the feelings, channel the grievances. So suppressing them, you can't suppress the mind. So, but the 3 things we can do with the mind is, I can control the mind, definitely. I can direct the mind. And I think most important, if we even go a little bit higher, I can make my mind divine, divinize the mind. We always used to say you're a divine being. Okay. So come back here, I think 2 things that we can't do with the mind, and 3 things I can do with the mind. So if we understand these 5 natural things we do or we cannot do with the mind, the end result. What is the end result? Look at number 6 here. The end result means I can create, I can sustain and delete thoughts. You see, creating thoughts, all of us know. Okay, and now we are creating thoughts. Okay, and the second thing, we will sustain the thoughts. But the most important, friends, is deleting thoughts. Not many knows. I think all of us have a mobile. We have a computer. I think mobile computer. One thing very, very important is we have to delete. So similarly, the mind is also a mini computer, a living computer, in fact. So if you're not able to delete the thoughts, then what happens is viruses will be in the computer, correct? And then the messages will all jam. So same case that if my mind, I cannot delete the wrong thoughts in the mind, brothers, sisters, is it will give rise to a lot of tension of the mind. Okay, these are the 6 natural laws of the mind you should know. Okay, now next, brother going to take you, there are 4 steps to manage the mind. Next. Okay. So coming back here, sorry, before that, yeah, before that just now, before that, zoom back again. You can reverse back. Before that. Okay, thank you. So brother put in a very nice summary form. Go back again just now. Okay, here, stay here. Okay, these are the 2 things we can do. We cannot empty, we cannot suppress. And what we can do with the mind. We can direct the mind, we can divinize the mind, we can create thoughts, we can sustain thought, we can delete thoughts. So friends, brothers, sisters, if we're able to know this category, what I can do, what I cannot do, especially the portion of what you can do, believe it or not, your mind will be your life will be wonderful. Your life will be full of calmness and peace. We call it mastery over the mind. You see, we always use the word self-mastery. So self-mastery means mastery over your mind. Okay, next. Next, yeah. So the result of understanding the 6 laws I mentioned earlier on is we become a master over the mind. So we have 2 options, friends. Either you slave over your mind or you can master over your mind. It's up to you. Okay. So if we don't know the laws of the mind and then we become slave of the mind. And slave, you know lah, huh? Slave means what? You'll be tortured, you'll be bullied, okay? You'll be discriminated. Well, master means I have control over the mind. Okay, next. So next. So basically, this evening, to able to control the mind is, before that, sorry, we have to know the 4 steps to manage the mind. The first step is we have to understand the mind. Secondly, we have to select the type of thoughts. Just in the earlier talk, I was saying that thoughts is like food. We have to select the food to eat, correct? Overnight food, stale food, we don't eat. Similarly, that most of us, we cannot select thoughts because we don't know what are the thoughts to select and what are the thoughts to reject. That, brother, that I'm going to share a little bit with you later. And the third step, very important, is mind checking. And the 4th step, I think most important is that is the core business of Brahma Kumaris centers around the world, is to teach people to have an awareness with the public. Is meditation is so critical, so crucial in our life. So these are the 4 things. I will take you through briefly on these 4 things. Okay, first thing is step 1, understand the mind. Next. So basically, the mind, you see, we shouldn't mix up the brain and the mind, because most of us sometimes you got mixed up. The brain is actually part of the physical component of the body. Basically, I think there are 2 components of our living being. One is the physical, one is the living, the spiritual. We used to say spiritual. So the mind is in the spiritual component, it's not in the physical component. Okay, so the brain is a physical component, the mind is the spiritual component. So we're talking about the spiritual component, not the physical component. So basically, in our spiritual being, we call it inner being, the 3 faculty, the mind, intellect, and the personality. So the mind will create thoughts. Probably we can look at the screen here. The mind creates thoughts. Most important is all of us have the chance. All of us have the opportunity, have the power to control the mind. How? Because we have an intellect here. You see, the intellect is to filter off the thoughts that are not necessary. I will tell you later in the process of meditation how your intellect. You see, intellect, we always use to give an example of a filter. You see, anything that is, I mean, if you make any thing, whether soap or liquid, anything, you need to filter. Okay? So if the filter is strong, friends, then you're able to filter off the negative thoughts, the impure thoughts. So we have to empower the intellect. I will tell you later. And later part is personality, your character, your behavior. So mind, intellect, and personality, that forms the inner being. As I was saying, that we can't go into detail everything in 1 hour's time. Probably I would just give a glimpse of what is important to be shared with all of you. Okay, the next portion. So once we understand the inner being, then we shift to the next portion. You see, purpose of the mind. All of us have 4 purposes of the mind. Whether you're intelligent or not intelligent, you're educated or not educated, doesn't matter. So the 4 purpose of the mind is create thoughts. That everyone knows. Everybody in the world can create thoughts. But the thing is, the second one is a problem, that not many of us know to delete or destroy the unnecessary thoughts. That we will probably share with you later. And the third one is sustain the thoughts. thought. That is also a danger point, because you can create negative thoughts, one negative thought, you sustain it, it becomes 10 negative thoughts. You sustain again, it becomes 20 negative thoughts. So that gives you more and more stress. So the stress will be mounting, will be increasing more and more. And the fourth is most important is I can change the thoughts. From whatever negative thoughts, I can change direction. I can change into positive thoughts. So ideally, friends, to make your mind, to make your life peaceful and calm, is you have to understand the four acts of the mind, the four functions of the mind: create, destroy or delete, sustain and change. Okay, next. Next. Next, we're going to take you on to the type of thoughts. Okay, next. So, as I was saying early on, is thoughts, analogy of thoughts is food. Okay, I think all of us know very well, because we have to eat. I think some of you are very good cooks probably. So analogy of thoughts actually is food for the mind. Next. Next. So just I was saying earlier on, there are four acts of the four purpose of the mind. Okay, now also there are four types of thoughts. All of us have. One is ordinary thoughts. We call it necessary thoughts. No, you need to go to the market, you need to go to the bank, you need to meet somebody tomorrow. These are ordinary thoughts. The second category of thoughts we call waste thoughts. Waste thoughts is a very harmful thoughts, because waste thoughts are based on imagination, suspicion, rumors, okay, and then whatever people say, you accept that to be truth. These are called waste thoughts. And positive thoughts, I think all of us, our aim is to have many positive thoughts, as many as possible. So positive thoughts are thoughts based on virtues like love, peace, and patience. And the last category is negative thoughts. Okay, so negative thoughts are based on vices. Vices means that the negative traits like anger, jealousy, greed, etc. So basically, friends, if you want to make your mind your friend, you want to make your mind calm and peaceful, you should ideally have first and the third category. Okay, first, ordinary we need because to survive. Third one we should have. We should try to reduce or totally cut down the second and the fourth. And how to cut down the second and the fourth, as I go along, I will give you some tips, some hints. So we should cut down a lot of waste thoughts. We should cut down totally negative thoughts. So what should remain is ordinary thoughts and positive thoughts. Okay, next. The other thing we can take you through is next is power, food, food and thoughts. Okay, next one. I think I always give an example that there are four types of food. Number one, as you know, is plain food. Sometimes it comes from work. Oh, there's no vegetables, there's no good dishes, plain food. So ordinary thoughts, analogy is to plain food. Waste thoughts are overcooked food. I think anybody can tell you that when food are overcooked, what happens is it loses its nutrients, it loses its strength of the food. Negative thoughts is stale and rotten food. I think none of us will ever like to take stale and rotten food, because it may give us food poisoning, diarrhea, vomiting, or whatever. And the most important, I think all of us want the fourth category. Positive thoughts are like fresh food. So ideally, friends, we should consume a lot of, you have to consume the first category. We should consume the fourth category, the fresh food and also plain food. We should reject the overcooked food and the stale or rotten food. Okay, next. Okay, now another aspect of thoughts I would take is energy. You see, we always say that thought is actually energy or power. So, friends, either you can increase your energy, increase your power, or you can deplete, you can lose your energy or power. Next. So, I put a very nice tabulation for all of you that basically, if you look carefully, as I mentioned earlier on, there are four types of thoughts. The three category of thoughts make you lose your energy. Ordinary thoughts also lose energy, you won't gain. Waste thoughts also you lose energy. And negative thoughts you lose energy. The only thoughts that makes you increase your energy, your power of the mind is positive thoughts. Okay, so as I was saying earlier on, is try to increase your positive thoughts as much as possible. Next, yeah. Okay, in a normal day, okay, I just give you a rough. This is just a rough figure. In a normal day, all of us have four types of thoughts. Ordinary thoughts, probably I just put a figure 10%. Okay, base thoughts, you have many probably. Base thoughts, based on jealousy, hearsay, imagination, 30%. Negative thoughts like jealousy, hatred, anger, 50%. And positive thoughts are only 10%. So, friends, the majority of our thoughts are actually thoughts that take away the energy. Okay, that means we lose a lot of mental energy. You see, sometimes I always say that our olden days, our parents, they're very energetic, they're healthy. They're healthy even under the sun because their thinking is very simple. They have simple thinking, they have very plain thinking. Okay. Okay, next the other analogy, if after meditation, what happened? See, after meditation, you see, we do have ordinary thoughts, we do have base thoughts, we have negative thoughts, but you look at the figure that it drastically reduced. So our positive thoughts increased to 70%. Okay, earlier, if you can recall, it's only 10%, correct? Now we increase to 70%. That means meditation increases the mind power. Okay, so that's why it's so important that the art of meditation, we have to learn this art. Okay, next, the step number 3. I'll take you 2 more steps and then we can. Okay, step number 3, as I was saying earlier on, is the 4 steps, if you can recall, to be able to control the mind, is mind checking. You see, sometimes, friends, a lot of thoughts comes to the mind, especially with this COVID-19. Things will just happen like that. You never know what will happen tomorrow. Definitely, you never know. We can't even project. We can't even plan any plans in our life. At least even for the next week is difficult. So we have to go day by day. You see, sometimes thoughts come at a tremendous rate. The quantity have, as I was saying earlier on, quantity thoughts are so many. The speed is so fast. So what can we do? So the third method is we call it mind checking. So whatever thoughts that come, we try to be an observer of the thoughts. It means observer of a thought. It's also sometimes called is the weakness. We are weakness. We are not a player of the thoughts. So once you observe the thoughts, you let the thoughts go. Secondly, sometimes the thoughts comes. We need a very powerful brake, just like a car when we're driving. Okay, the powerful the brake, the better. We can avoid a lot of accidents. So we may not have accidents externally, but we do have a lot of accidents internally in the mind. Clashes, conflict in relationship, argument, stress, all this because we're not able to put a brake to the thoughts in the mind. So we should also learn the art to stop, to have a very powerful brake. And the third one, very, very important, very, very important is we should be able to replace or change a negative into a positive thoughts. That is the art that I learned, to be very frank with you. In all these years I learned through our meditation, is replacing the negative into positive thoughts. You see, so put it shortly, that to be able to observe, to be able to put a break to the thoughts, to able to replace the negative into positive, we have to do a lot of mind checking. You see, I always believe that after every 2 hours, just pause for a while. Just pause for a while, take a cup of coffee or tea, just relax, okay, and don't think too much. You see, we always say that traffic, we always use the word traffic. You see, imagine that if tomorrow you go onto the streets, the traffic light is out haywire. What happened? Everybody will try to dash across, correct? So if the traffic light is back to normal, they're red, they're green and red and green, totally everything is well controlled on the road. So similarly, we have to check our thoughts as much as possible. Okay. Okay, so that is the mind checking. Okay, lastly, friends, the step number 4, the last method to be able to make your mind your best friend is through meditation. I would take you to the meditation experience after the Q&A. So basically, You see, the aim of meditation is to, in relationship with the mind, because we can talk about meditation in many, many different aspects. Basically, meditation is just two things. One is to empower the mind. You see, as I was saying earlier on, is empower especially the intellect. You see, we have two very important components in the mind. One is we create a lot of thoughts, correct? The mind creates a lot of thoughts. Let it come. But important is my filter. Filter means the intellect should be very strong. If my filter is not strong, if my filter is not empowered, what happens is the negative thoughts will just goes in. So I need to empower the intellect. Empowering the intellect, we need power, we need strength, we need realization. Okay, and that comes through meditation. And the second very important benefit of meditation is we're able to create a lot of positive thoughts. So we have to create a bank of positive thoughts. We always say that we have an external bank, correct? So I think important also we have an inner bank here. So I should put one corner of my life, one corner of the mind, to have a bank, so that I can bank in all the positive thoughts. Okay, so basically these are the things that I want to take you through. I hope with the method that we just shared with all of you, you're able to sort of, at the end of the day, your mind will sort of be in harmony with you. Your mind will be a sort of a servant to you. Your mind shouldn't be a master of over you. And basically, from the earlier, the triangle. Can you show the triangle again? Triangle again. Basically, we know about that. I think most important now we have to do it. Okay, we have to do it now. Okay, so okay, we know we have the knowledge. You know the method that I've shared with you. I think most important is the third portion here. We have to do it, and that is solution to mind management. Okay, we can have knowledge, we have method, but we have to put into practice. Do it. Okay, so I think friends, with this few sharing, I would like to open to questions, and then I would like I'll thank you. I'll pass the program back to our MC for this evening, Ms. Amanda Lee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pui, for the inspiring talk. If you have any question throughout this event, please feel free to post it in the chat box. We will attend to your question during the Q&A session. Now, let us welcome Miss Cindy Lim to facilitate the Q&A session. Welcome, Miss Cindy.
Thank you, Amanda. And also, I would like to thank you, our speaker, Mr. Pui, for the 30 minutes is served, half an hour, 30 minutes is served. Mr. Pui have shared with us the simple and easy method. I'm sure all of us, we would like to go back to our childhood time. Our mind will be so fresh, will be just like the sponge. I can squeeze it, I can dip it in the water, I still can be happy and alive. This is why mind management comes in. And we're talking about mind management. Mr. Pui have mentioned that we can reduce the number of thoughts, we can create the thoughts. It means that I, the living being, have the power. In order to have the power, Mr. Pui also shared with us that it's a matter of practicing it, to do it. So how to do that? I'm sure all of you will be curious and would like to know the simple method that we can use it every day, including myself, which I'm looking forward to the session that Mr. Pui can guide us the meditation. I'm sure that will be the method just like all of us using the computer. When the computer gets jammed, how do you restart the computer? We all know that we will press the button, alternate control delete. That's right. Then we can start the computer again. The computer come back into life again. This is how we can do it on hardware from the physical thing. Internal, I'm sure there can be too. From here, we have the question from friends and also from the chat box. One of the question, Mr. Pui, will be talking about how to put full stop to the thought. Is it possible?
Okay. So thank you, Cindy, for the first question.
How to put, when there is, the mind have a lot of thought,
Yeah.
is it possible? Is there a method that I could put a full stop? It means just now, Mr. Pui have mentioned, I can apply the breath to the thought.
Okay. I think, as I was saying earlier on, friends, there are three methods. One is either I observe the thoughts. Secondly, either I put a break, or thirdly, as Cindy was posing the question, to put a full stop. You see, to put a full stop, I would say that would be the last stage. Okay, so I think the first stage that when a lot of thoughts comes to the mind, especially negative thoughts that comes to the mind, I think the most important is you just observe the thoughts. That means, so to say, you don't get caught up with the thoughts. The thoughts are trying to tempt you. The thoughts is trying to dangle a carrot in front of you, but you just let it go. You just let it go, because one of the basic thing is thoughts will come and go. Thoughts will never stay long in your mind. It stays long in your mind because you're holding on to the thoughts. So now the question is whether holding on to the thoughts or letting go of a thoughts is in whose hand? It's in my hands. And to let go of a thoughts, I need the power to let go. And the power to let go of a thoughts is through meditation. Secondly, if I'm not able to be observer, we call it observer. So you only can let go when you observe. You are in the observer state of the mind. If you're not in the observer state of the mind, if you're always a player, you will get tired, you will get exhausted. I don't know how you feel. That sometimes I always feel that why get so much involved in playing the game? Just be a spectator, just be an audience. I think you will enjoy the game better. Try and see. Okay, so we always say don't get caught up in conflict. And sometimes you use the word we are too busy body, we are too busy minded. If you're too caught up in the game of conflict, unnecessary, you're pulled into the conflict. So the first thing is observer state. Second thing is when these thoughts are coming to you, especially negative thought, you look at the positive side of life. Okay, you look at the brighter side of life. No, we always say that COVID-19 is very negative. You can think negative about COVID-19. We can also think about positive about COVID-19. So I should look more on the beautiful side rather than the ugly side. So whether to look in the beautiful, ugly side also depends on your state of mind. Okay, and the lastly, I was saying that observer state, okay, and putting a break. And the third one is most important is put a full stop. Put a full stop means that whatever comes, just don't entertain it. Let it go. Don't even think about it. Don't even talk about it. Sometimes the way we talk about the situation actually increases the we are giving power to the negative thoughts to empower us. So important is the negative thoughts. I'm talking more on the aspect of negative thoughts that come is we shouldn't empower these negative thoughts. We let it come, let it go. And to let it go, as I was saying earlier on, you need the strength to let it go. And where does the strength comes from? Through the art of meditation. As I was saying this evening that we can't really tell you the total detail on how to meditate, but basically I think the meditation will really give you the power to let go. And once you're able to let go, I think life will be more peaceful and more calm. Okay?
Yes, definitely. Life will become happy. All right. I like the point Mr. Pui have mentioned talking about during the pandemic or the COVID-19 time. You will see that we will receive a lot of messages from friends. They will love to wish each and other, one another, stay healthy and stay safe. So with this, it shows that each one of us, our mind would like all our friends to be healthy, and safe. So it means at that moment, the type of thought that they have is positive. Is it possible? This is one of the questions from one of the friends. When we're talking about posting the message, at that moment, the message will be talking about stay healthy, stay safe.
Yeah.
Yes, now it's become very popular. So would that mean that at that moment, my mind at that time have the thought is a positive thought?
Well, I think main thing is whether positive or negative thoughts. It depends on your own individual. But as I was saying that I can't control your mind. You cannot control your mind. You cannot control my mind. But the only thing I think to help each other is we send some positive slogan. We just say positive slogan, positive blessings to the person, so that it gives an awareness. It gives some subtle energy. I would say we give some subtle energy to that friend of yours, so that they will have the strength to carry on. You see, one of the subtle energy, as you know, as Cindy was mentioning, is stay safe, okay, stay healthy, stay safe.
Yeah.
So the other slogan I may send to somebody, okay, whatever happening is good. Whatever happening now is good. Whatever going to happen tomorrow is even better. So even this itself, we know that tomorrow better or not, we don't know. But the fact that if I send some positive message or positive slogan to somebody, actually, I'm giving that person subtle energy to come up from this situation if it comes.
Yep.
Just like I was saying that whatever happening now is good, whatever happening tomorrow is even better. So if tomorrow so happen, your friend, the friend that got a message tonight, encountered a very, very terrible situation, but your friend remember the slogan I sent tonight. That slogan I sent tonight is whatever happening is better. So in the situation of facing a very drastic, very negative situation, you remember the slogan that so and so Cindy sent to me, or Mr. Pui sent to me last night. Whatever happened is better. So it gives you the strength, it gives you the encouragement, it gives you the subtle blessing to go over that problem.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So that's to say, remember the last slide Mr. Pui has shared with us, the triangle. The last part of it will be talking about do it. So it will be starting from me. If I save good memory in my mind, good is feeling good every time, then gradually the bad memory, the not good thought itself will be slowly removed. So the question comes from one of the contact here will be talking about, is it just changing the thought? Is it just changing the thought? Save, I can save the good memory, good thought that I feel good. Then slowly the bad memory, also called the bad thought, will be reduced. So this is just a matter of changing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree to you. I agree with you, Cindy. It's a matter of changing the thoughts. Yeah.
All right. Okay. One last question. We'll be talking about listening. Listening and observer. The question will be posed, we'll be talking about what is the difference. I observe my thought or I become a good listener to my mind. What is the difference?
You see, one of the things, the lucky things we have with all of us is a conscience. We do have a
Okay.
conscience within us. Am I right? So I think the important thing is now I have to listen to my thoughts. One thing, I have to listen to my conscience as well. You see, sometimes you say that people conscience are dead. We used to say you have no feelings, you have no emotions. Yeah, if you don't have emotions or feelings about somebody or about the situation, that means that you are just an animal. You don't have a conscience. So I think important is all of us have conscience, okay? But some of us, our conscience are hibernating, are sleeping. So if your conscience are hibernating and sleeping means that it's just like you don't have feelings, you don't have emotions for somebody. So what is important in meditation, the art of meditation is actually awakening the conscience within myself. You see, the more I'm able to awakening my conscience within myself, whatever thoughts that comes, I can put a full stop, I won't put into action. You see, you see, the important thing, brothers and sisters, is terrible thoughts will come to the mind. Okay, negative thoughts, stressful thoughts. Okay, a lot of funny thoughts. But the important is I should finish up here. If I don't finish the negative thoughts or whatever bad thoughts up here, then it will come into worse. It will come into action. Correct. So the question is how to finish at the thought level. And the only way to finish it at the thought level before it's put into words and actions is only through meditation. As I was saying, meditation is empowering the filter, the intellect, number one. I just mentioned just now is meditation, this is sort of awaken your conscience. You see, once your conscience awaken, you feel that I shouldn't do that thing. Okay, I shouldn't do it at all. I shouldn't even say such a thing. It may come here, it's okay, let it be here. Let it be here, finish here. But most often we let it be here, only after we put into action, we try to finish it. It's too late. The consequences, the impact already split to the other person. That person may feel a bit sorrowful, may feel a bit insulted. So I think coming back here, I think is we have to listen to the conscience. We can only listen to the conscience. That means we have to listen to the inner being, provided the inner being is awakened. And the way to awaken the inner being is only through the art of meditation.
So basically, Mr. Pui has explained that we need to be listener, good listener, and also the observer. So that whatever thought come in, whether it's negative thought at that moment, I'm able to have the power to filter it. So I have to be a good listener, listen to the thought, and I'll also to be a good observer to the type of the thought. So
just to include what Cindy was saying, I think important, no matter how busy we are, friends, we have to take some time silence.
Yes.
Time of silence, quietness. Sometimes you use the word solitude. That is important because that provides an environment for you to really listen to your inner thoughts, your conscience within. Yeah. Okay.
All right. We have 2 minutes here. Just a quick one, Mr. Pui. During meditation, this question we're talking about, during meditation, is the brain still cannot be stopped? So I think Mr. Pui just now have mentioned mind and the brain are two different faculty. If you don't mind, Mr. Pui, could you just highlight to us, enlighten us, the brain, when during meditation, the brain, they should say the brain will be very active, still cannot stop. So how?
Yeah. You see,
thank you.
As I was saying earlier on, is we have to really, as I was saying earlier on, is we have to be clear that now we are a living person, a human being. Okay, human being have two components. One is the human, that means a physical being, and also the other one is the spiritual being. So the brain is more associated with something physical, something tangible. Physical means you can see, you can feel it, correct? Okay, like the table is physical now. Okay, my shirt is physical. So the brain is physical because we can see it, we can feel it. And then on the other side is opposite to physical is metaphysical. Metaphysical, we use the word spiritual. So the mind is actually belongs to the metaphysical and not the physical component. You see, the question now is, if I meditate, you see, which component produce thoughts? It's not the brain, it's the mind that produces the thoughts. It's the mind that produces the thought. Actually, in meditation, what happens is the metaphysical should be higher than the physical. If a metaphysical higher than the physical, I can even make all the sense organs like the brain, the lungs, and the stomach, and every part of the human structure to be in harmony. But what happened now is most of us, we don't think of the metaphysical at all. We think only of the physical. So we think about physical so much. So anything happen now in the environment, like the COVID-19 that comes and the disease that come, then we are easily affected. So things outside only were only attack or affect the physical, but not the metaphysical. So what happened in meditation is I make the mind to be powerful. So the mind is a component that produces our thoughts. It's not the brain. Okay, the brain is a component that controls all the organs of the body. In fact, the
Uh-huh.
mind controls the brain, and then the brain controls all the other organs of the body. I think if those who study anatomy, they know that the brain, the most important component is actually the brain, not the heart. Am I right?
Mm,
So the question, our heart control the brain or the brain controls the heart? It's definitely
mm.
the brain that controls the heart. So coming back here, we have to be very clear that the brain controls the other organs of the body, and the mind is a component that produces the thoughts.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Pui. Before we conclude, I like the point we'll be talking about mind and the brain. Actually, when the mind have less thought, you are more calm and more fresh. When we're talking about I have the fresh mind. And that is the time when your brain, the physical organ, even your heartbeat itself will be able to calm down. So that are all interrelated. So that is the beauty. Thank you very much, Mr. Pui. All right, we come to the end of the Q&A session. Next, I would like to have a humble request to request Mr. Pui to share with us the method of meditation, why meditation can help myself to calm down my mind and also to have healthy body, because when I have healthy mind, my brain will be cooperate with me, and that is so beautiful. So let us join Mr. Pui again, lead us to the meditation. Over to you, Mr. Pui. Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. I think this is the last session for this evening. But before we meditate, I'll just give you some basic instructions. I hope all of you are able to follow this basic instructions. So when we start to meditate, I just want all of you to cooperate a few things. If you're in the room, wherever you're sitting in your house or in your dining or in your living room or any corner of the room, is just make the lights a bit dim. Okay, make the lights a bit dim, number one. And number two, you should try to sit comfortably. Okay, sit comfortably, relax in a relaxed mood. And thirdly, I think it's important we have to shut the windows, not the external windows. The windows are that means your ears, your eyes. You have to close these internal windows, okay? And most important is the first stage is, I will say a few words. I will say a few words. You just have to hold on to the words, what I say. So the more you hold on to the words that I'm speaking, the more you feel good. Okay, is it okay? Okay, now we start. So sit comfortably. You can look at the screen. You can look at the screen now. Okay, so the screen. Okay, so as I sit here, I withdraw all my thoughts from the outside. I put aside thoughts of work, thoughts of the family, thoughts of my business. Let go. The more I let go, the more I become the light. And as I sit here, I turn my thoughts within myself. Nobody is looking at you. You're all alone by yourself. And when you sit here, I'm aware that inside me is a living being. The being that gave me a lot of love and peace. That is the mind. The mind is also a child of mine. I have to take care of my mind. Then only the mind can take care of me. So what does my mind need? My mind need pause. My mind need peaceful thoughts. My mind need comfortable feelings. As I sit here, I remind myself that I'm a very peaceful being. Peace is my original quality. Peace is inside me. Peace is my property. Peace is my inheritance. And this peace, nobody can take it away. It belongs to me. It will be with me forever. Whatever happened during the day, I've been a state of observer. Thoughts come, let it go. I will just take in thoughts that are good for me. I let go of all those thoughts that create peacelessness. I let go of thoughts that create tension within myself. I only take in thoughts that are good for me. So as I sit here, I let go. Let go of the past. Let go of what people say. I am the living being. I am the truth. I, the being, the mind, belongs to me. The mind is not in any other's hand. It's in my hands. So every day, I sit quietly in the morning or evening. Take some time to go within yourself. Just let go of everything outside, externally. Just be aware that I, the being, is surrounded by peace. I, the being, the mind, surrounded by love. I, the mind, is surrounded by happiness. So all these qualities are mine. All these qualities is part of me, the human being. So slowly and slowly, I withdraw my thoughts and come back into awareness that I, the mind, the living being, is controlling this body. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Pui and Miss Cindy, for the amazing session. We hope you have enjoyed the wonderful moment just now. We really hope this talk has inspired you for your personal growth. We highly encourage and welcome you to join us for our next upcoming program, which is on 16th December 2020, Wednesday. The topic is Spiritual Knowledge for Future Life. For information, you can log into our international website www.brahmakumaris.org or Malaysia website www.brahmakumaris.my to look for the nearest center for you. Or you can contact Miss Lily at 013-801-5959 or Miss Christina at 014-699-5668. We are almost coming to the end of the program. A program will not be complete without exchanging gift. We would like to send an e-blessing. This e-blessing can either be a personal message or a words of inspiration. Please leave your contact number or email address in the Google form. You can find the link below at the chat box. Or you can send your detail to Miss Lily and Miss Christina in order to receive your e-blessing. We hope to receive your feedback in the Google form as well. We do offer free meditation course. Courses are offered free of charge as a service to the community. If you are interested to learn basic meditation, please fill in the Google form. Last but not least, we truly appreciate your participation and we hope it has benefited you. We wish you peace, stay healthy, and stay safe. Good night and hope to see you again. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you for your inspiration, for your life and love. Thank you for your recognition of the one above. Thank you for your sweet compassion, for your life of truth. Thank you for walking on this earth. Thank you for being you. The river flows back to the ocean. The trees turn back to dust. The sun must set as the day ends, and so shall all of us. The gift of silence is returned to each one soul by soul. I know you hold it in your heart as you watch your life unfold. So go to the sea, flow to the ocean, fly like a bird to his eyes. thank you for